Rakan, however, these two jungle support duo throughout the series has been extremely high priority, so we'll have to see what OMG decides to respond with. I think Malphite is fine to kill the play with that ultimate available as well, but it really depends on how this bottom lane is going to go, because I think Ppgod, without that Rakan, you can still pick the Renata, but without that extra bit of mobility, can OMG still get that early tempo going is the question.
It is going to be the question now. OMG got themselves an opportunity here. They could lock in a jungler, and possibly Kennen's not banned. We could see a Kennen final pick here, so OMG thinking about where they want to try and take these next one things. It's going to be the Vi. Don't even pretend that it's going to be anything else. And now we'll see where they want to try and take this draft, because they've got some opportunities here. Maybe want to try and keep Ppgod for that counter pick after the kind of setup, and they know exactly what this bot lane is going to look like.
Maybe they take the Ahri here to deny Scout from the Ahri Wukong for this second game in a row. I think it also pairs very well. It is going to be the Kennen, I believe. This champion has finally been let open after 3 games, and it is going to go into the hands of Shanji. My man is such a Giga Chad. Oh my god, finally he's given one of his best champions.
Now, LNG, what do you want to try and add on to this? Because remember, if you pick your AD carry here, which is totally fine, you can ban away supports, but it does mean you are leaving Zika to have a little bit of an unfortunate time in the next ban phase. You can see things like the Cassante banned away, maybe even the Malphite, if they're really feeling like those top lane kind of setups are going to. Yeah, they just want to try and make sure that Zika has something he can actually perform on. And we saw after the first time he played at this series, didn't go that great. Second time, much better. Felt a lot more comfortable with it. And having that combination with the 2 things of the Rakan and the Wukong, Wukong and the Rakan, it's just going to be so much harder for anyone to get anything done on OMG.
I got so worried when LNG hovered that Jinx. I really don't want to see a Jinx up against Kennen, Vi, and Xayah. You're just not surviving any of these teamfights. Something that can sit back long range. I'm pretty sure LP, his most played is that Varus, but he is still very comfortable on something like the Jhin, where you make up for that lack of damage in the mid lane, which Scout is more than happy to do. He can play something like the Jace or even the Tristana, where they get that early tempo going on early, of getting the macro on early, which is something that they excel at before they get swept up into a 5v5, which OMG is looking for with this Kennen and Vi so far.
A lot of lockdown, a lot of single target lockdown as the Varus does come in as a ban here. I quite like this one actually, because it's one of LP's more favorite picks of the split. It's obviously received multiple different nerfs coming at it, and the LeBlanc is banned away as well. So LNG, imagine they lock in their AD carry here, gives Scout the opportunity to have a counter pick going into OMG's Creme. And we'll wait to see where they want to try and continue the rest of this draft, because right now it does feel like OMG and LNG have exceptional engage opportunities available to them, and it's coming down to the 5v5, and that is a big ticking time bomb on the bot side. If that gets a kill in the early game, we could see a very quick game number 4.
I was thinking about it. All these ADCs are taken off the board. Is LP really going to lock in Draven against Xayah? And I guess because of all the ADCs taken off the board, he really had no other choice other than the Draven. But are you really going to be able to find so many kills onto the enemy team when they have so much disengage?
I have to wait and see. That Renata is looking pretty damn good right now for Ppgod. That's why they want to try and wait for the second rotation. Look at everything that wants to go in. You pop down a hostile takeover. That is going to be disgusting to try and run into. But Scout very happy to take the Veigar now into this matchup of the Akali. A little bit of a kind of lane nerf as well, or lane... what was a kind of counter matchup, I would say. You pop down the event horizon, she can't really go in, can't really go anywhere else. So definitely a lot of lane control or space control here available to the Veigar. And LNG, they've got their composition. They know how they want to play with this. They want to try and make sure that this Draven gets the kill early and keeps ahead of this Xayah.
Yeah, we need Scout constantly roaming towards that bottom lane with Tarzan as well, while Zika just stays in an isolated matchup up against that Kennen before they...
Of the single elimination gauntlet of our bracket. It is all to play for here, and it all comes down to the double elim. Excuse me, the team fights before you can get to the double elim. You have to execute correctly. And OMG and LNG have delivered so far today. Terrifying to see that in the sky one day, I think we all would agree.
Wait, but you like anime people in this? What, you would be terrified?
I mean, I'm saying if you saw giant anime people in the sky, you would be terrified. I don't care if you like anime or not. You will be terrified if that happens. It's just like Hatsune Miku just screaming at me from like, you know, 1,000 feet up or something like that. Just disturbing.
I'm sure some people in the world would appreciate it, but you know, different boats for different floats. I don't even. What am I saying? Anyways, let's talk about this game 4 because I think OMG, their entire team composition is kind of hard to execute. You don't have a clear outside of the Vi ultimate. You don't have clear CC to lock down the enemy team. Where your only AOE is Kennen. I think Ppgod's ultimate, unless you're fighting in a choke, it's going to be very hard to hit. But OMG, they realistically want the enemy team to be playing into them with the Xayah and the Renata. So if OMG gets a little bit too disconnected because Shanji wants to consistently look for those flanks with Creme alongside the Akali, their teamfights might be very messy.
Are you going to see a bit of a move here? Neither AD carry wants to use their flash just yet. There's going to be the first one there. Second, third, one more.
Abel's dead!
Not quite enough! He didn't have it with the spinning axe. And that means we are going to have a 4-for-3 summoner trade. OMG, though, not coming out the better of it.
He just chugged a health pot, and that was really the difference between First Blood going into the Draven at 2 minutes. But he misses out on the entirety of that first wave. And that is exactly what LNG wants, because now Tarzan, starting at the top side, going to move the jungler down and just focus down Abel before he even hits level 6.
Big win there. We'll have a look at the replay here and how close it really could have been. But Abel tries to dodge it out. I think at that stage, honestly, I would have preferred if he just flashed, you know? Just get it back, get away from it, get over the wall, and just stay in the lane.
I'm surprised that Hung didn't go Glacial. I think if he had a different rune here, it would have been an overall winning play for
HP.
LNG. But that 4 HP really did make the difference. Refillable pot and double pink wards for LNG. They want to force the Wukong bot ASAP.
Yeah, they really do. And honestly, I was just looking at it there in terms of the summoners. You have Summoner Spellbook here for Hung. So he's going to be able to have the Ignite available to him potentially. Maybe a Ghost or something like that. Hell, a TP mightn't even be the craziest thing in the world that we see. So lots for the, you know, opportunities. Yeah, lots of opportunities.
How are you ever going to outsmite a 50-50 Baron flip if LNG has triple smites?
Exactly.
Just give up. LNG, I mean, Hung, if you can't beat them, just join them, and he decides to go Spellbook. I truly think if he had Glacial, the Xayah would have been dead here, but hopefully we do see the value out of this Spellbook on the Rakan later on into the game, as both junglers are making their way towards this bottom side. I think the Scuttle is going to go into the hands of Aki, as Wukong never wins the 1v1 here, but I want to see the junglers just 3v3ing in the bottom lane.
Creme will eat a little bit of the damage back as he's kind of putting a lot of pressure down onto Scout. Scout will be just stacking up that AP as best he possibly can.
Aki is not giving any scuttles over.
You can't give it over. You know you're more powerful. You know you can get the kills off onto Tarzan. So why the hell not? You still have Smite as well. So this wouldn't even be a fair or a one-sided affair for Tarzan. He would have to try and get the Smite down as well as the fight. So definitely much safer to just leave that one over to Aki. Let him know, yep, you got the Vi. We're happy with that. And we'll let you bully me for the moment, but I'll get you in the team fights. Don't you worry.
It's so weird to see Tarzan being the one that gets forced out of these situations, because he's the one always in the enemy team space, but hopefully this doesn't mess with their early tempo just quite yet. But Aki, once again, one of our most aggressive junglers in the LPL. Sometimes it can do wonders for them, or sometimes it just throws the game straight away.
I believe that was a smite from Aki on the small minion. I'm not quite sure, but could have been. As we see a TP coming in here from Zika. Love that we're seeing Shanji now.
Got the cannon.
Didn't quite get it. I do love that we're seeing Shanji now onto this Kennen. This is something that has been banned against him for so much of this series because of just how impactful he can be on such a carry champ.
Yeah, this Kennen currently sitting on 80% winner, I believe, for Shanji, even picking up that extra win in the previous playoffs up against top esports. So this Kennen, it has been getting banned for very good reasoning. I think Shanji, when he is able to find those flank angles, he just goes full glass cannon. He does not go Banshees, he does not go Zhonya's. He is Shadow Flame into Void stuff, and he is popping the enemy ADC out of existence. Hopefully we get to see Kennen ahead, however, because I think when you're up against Veigar, Malphite, and Wukong, you are extremely vulnerable to dying, since Veigar can one-tap you.
Yeah, can one-tap you, but also can stop you as well with the event horizon. I think that's the big thing we're looking at right now is that as much as OMG have the hostile takeover, Zika goes in. Bit of a trade right now. Very rock solid for the moment, but very easy with the lightning rush for Shanji just to kind of back away. We'll be hitting level 6 just about now, so has an opportunity to try to back. But yeah, like again, like both teams have ways of stopping the oncoming jungler, the oncoming top laner from getting on top of them. So we'll see if that ends up kind of working in their favor. LNG trying to go for the dragon this time around. OMG saying, look, we've been getting the first dragon the last 3 games in a row. You think we're just going to let this one go? You think we're just going to let this happen? Creme is going in on top of LP. The event horizon went down on top of the dragon, so it's not really available there. Hung flashes over the side. Flash in. Creme with first blood. 1v2ing and coming out with a kill. Not quite going down just yet.
Creme?
The bailout's not even needed. Yes, it is. Flash from Scout means that they don't end up getting the kill at the end of it all. Hung going back in over the wall. Flight not going to be in time. Flash from Ppgod and OMG secure themselves another first Drake.
But how does Creme do it? He just 1v2s the backline of LNG while they're just fighting with a numbers advantage. Although it was a 4v4, 2 people occupied by the Akali, even getting a solo kill as a trade-off where Scout even had to flash forward just to get that extra auto in. Also securing the first dragon. This fight was so messy from LNG, but we saw the event horizon zoning out the enemy team's bottom lane. But Creme is just an absolute insane Akali player where he just solos the ADC out of the fight. And without this Draven, I mean, Veigar in the early game, not too much damage, only can execute one person, which was Creme, but it is very, very insane that Akali can do that.
I mean, it took everything from Scout to secure the kill on the back end of that, so being a 2-1 scoreline as, wait, why is it a 2-1 scoreline? How did Kennen get a kill? Shanji got a kill somehow. Shanji got a kill somehow, and it was on to Tarzan, so I'm not quite sure how that happened. I was doing the maths in my head. I was like, wait a minute. That doesn't equal, right? Only one each. Yeah, I mean, obviously something happened. I think there was a replay picture-in-picture that we weren't watching or weren't paying attention. Here we go.
Oh,
we're going to have a look at it. Yes, just for Scuttle. He just goes in and kills him.
Wow. I mean, Tarzan wanted the Scuttle for the past 5 minutes, but OMG is not giving that over. What? How does Shanji pull that off? But in the other hand, we have LP giving away those Draven stacks, which is really bad for the side of LNG, as you want this Draven ahead. That is your win con, so hopefully Tarzan can make up for it. Although getting solo killed in his own jungle. Yeah,
went for a Scuttle that wasn't his, and was punished for it. Zika going to be punched first in the face. Does have flash and ult, no longer has flash. Does have ult available to him, but again, just little small moments there. Aki just happy to let this wave kind of soak in. He's not really losing anything else around the map because he's covering for the Rift Herald as well. So Zika's going to be trying his very best to make sure he does not lose. Tarzan finally makes his way up towards this top side, and Aki just going to choose against going in for that fight.
Does seem like a stale 2v2 so far in the top lane just for now, but both supports are making their way here. Level 6 not available for Hung.
No, but
so
he's on.
It does seem like LNG, they're gonna start it, but I don't know if you win it because Shanji has that ultimate available. You don't want to ever be contesting the Kennen without your ultimates as well. Oh, run away, LNG, look away.
Yeah, LNG know they're not really strong enough to kind of take this. They are moving LP over, but I don't think it's going to be too little too late at this point in time, so OMG happy to kind of control this for the moment. Again, they're getting the kind of, the setup they want right now, as we do see LP trying to be aggressive here onto Abel. Feathers have been brought down, but gotta be a little bit scared here for the, oh, you want to see a move? Creme, oh my god, give him the blue suede shoes.
So
that was gorgeous. That was gorgeous from Creme.
Creme is just constantly occupying at least 2 to 3 members from LNG, and this is Herald going over to OMG now. First Dragon, first Herald. We've seen this for the past 3 games. Every single time OMG is just getting all these major objectives and LNG not trading anything. I think Tarzan could have gone bottom lane and at least burn an ultimate or even flash from the Xayah, and then you repeat gank it, because you can't just be doing nothing at the top side of LNG.
Well, they do get a little bit on the bot side, like you mentioned there. We are going to see plate going over, a little bit of gold there to the Draven, who is stacking up towards his Immortal Shield Bow as quick as he possibly can. Drag it up in a minute's time. And like I said, the Rift Herald was taken here by Aki, so nothing else really to Be writing home about if you're an LNG fan. It's all been a bit slow. It does feel like OMG have a little bit of an edge, but all it takes is one Draven Q. All it takes is one auto attack to change the dynamic of this game. He gets himself ahead on the items. He knows how powerful he can be. We've seen Dravens take over games, but specifically in the LPL, we've also seen Dravens do literally nothing. They're always kind of waiting for that one big cash out, and it just never seems to come. I think Doggo is one of the more prolific AD carries to get hit by that. And poor Doggo. And we will see. Setting themselves up pretty safely around this bottom side. I will say, you actually have a teleport advantage now for OMG. You've got Shanji on his teleport cooldown, where Zika's still waiting for his. So if you want to go for a bit of a kind of, teleport flank in, you can do it.
Yeah, it does seem like both mid laners are just going to TP back into a lane, but OMG bottom lane a little bit too over pushed here. We do see Aki already hovering because they expect a gank onto this lane. However, Tarzan's on the other side of the map, so they're most likely just going to give over the second dragon, even Herald for the bottom lane, and potentially trade a kill onto Shanji, who doesn't have flash for another 20 seconds.
I was going to say, I don't think it's going to be quick enough, as Shanji is not someone you want to be trying to dive in here as much as it would work out. They do have the lightning rush being used. There's the slicing maelstrom to clear out the wave, but I think it's just a delaying of time. Shanji now recognizing he's probably in a bad situation, needs to get the recall off. Zika tanking up the wave means that Tarzan is probably nearby.
He's just gonna walk out.
He's just going to walk out. Cleared the wave, has teleport, can teleport back in if he so chooses, but second dragon of the game goes over to OMG. It is going to be a Cloud Soul as well. And he didn't actually go left. He didn't actually leave. He's still here.
He has the flash. Maybe he flashes the ultimates from LNG.
Oh, he does flash one of them. He's trying to run away, but he's not going to be able to get it. Zika will pick up that kill. It was just to gain the distance. Creme coming up on the top side, though, as they are tanking up the turret quite a little bit. Zika very low. TP's going to have to be committed here by Hong. That's a TP from the Rakan to try and cover their bases, as both the top laner and the jungler are in dire straits. The quickness comes out. The knockback. The ultimates are good. Can they kill off Zika? Yes, they can. Double kill for Creme. He wants more. The exhaust comes out. Means he won't be able to get it. But that is all OMG all the time. And nothing LNG can do about it.
But how is OMG winning both sides of the map? 2 dragons and now 2 kills going to the hands of Creme. He's now 3-1. With both ultimates from LNG used onto Shanji, a very worthy sacrifice from our little Kennen, but you are so overcommitted to that dive, where the Vi was able to gut dragon, reset, and make her way top lane to get that double kill.
Yeah, it took him so long, and as well as that, the minion wave was dead, so they took like 2,000-3,000 damage off the back of it as well. And yeah, like Creme is just exceptional on this pick.
Creme has been everywhere on the map, as we see Scout just trying his best to get some plates, but I don't think that one plate could have mattered. You could have also rotated towards this top side, as your jungler was the one first towards that top. The exhaust is so late as well from LNG. They look so out of their element for this early game machine.
Exhaust was late because I don't think he had it. Literally, it was coming back off of cooldown from the Summoner Spellbook, and that's when he got it. So a little bit unfortunate. I believe that was a collateral technically on the execution of the perfect execution. Got both people in terms of the Wukong and the Malphite caught up in it. So really, really well done there by Creme, who's now 3-1, has the Proto Belt finish up for himself. And with early dragon stacking, OMG can use this early game. They can put themselves into such a strong position. And speaking of strong positions, Zika might not be in one himself. He does ult away. But if you're ulting away, that is a huge cooldown no longer available to you for a potential fight.
And we saw that this Malphite, Wukong, and Rakan, they excel at making those wombo combos happen in these 5v5s. Herald spawning in 1 minute, so nothing too major available on the map just quite yet. But Zika, for the past 3 games, I think he's just only been ulting away. But to be fair, as long as you're not dying and not getting Shanji too many plates into his pockets, where it is now 14 minutes, should be fine. But I want to see Tarzan playing towards this Draven. Hello, do we forget that there's a Draven in this bottom side who's sitting on 0 kills right now?
Allegedly, Creme is down here alongside Aki, but Aki was spotted out, so LNG immediately put the pedal to the metal and get themselves the hell out of that bot lane. It would have been a pretty bad place to be should they've been caught out, but Not to be. First island's being completed across the board. We do see Zika going towards the Abyssal Mask. I really like this adaptation we see from tank top laners, especially when you have the double AP of solo laners and the Kennen and the Akali. Just feel like you can kind of enable the rest of your team very, very nicely. This bot lane turret is looking likely to fall pretty damn soon, especially considering that, like, the only one who can really contest, quote-unquote, with Creme is Scout.
Does seem like this T1 tower is going to go down as the bottom lane of OMG has already rotated towards that mid lane and getting the wards set down. I really like the one behind the Baron pit where it does spot out Tarzan and him making his way towards it, but it doesn't seem like they can contest any of these objectives because without the correct vision setup, I think Hung has been lacking in that so much in the past games that we've seen in the series. They're just going to give over the second Herald as well. LNG, you can't just give over everything.
Objective over objective, and that's the thing. I love that you bring that up, that they're giving over everything, because it's not as if it's a herald for, you know, bot lane tower or whatever, you know, a dragon for top lane or whatever. It just seems to be objective after objective after objective, and OMG are faster. OMG are quicker to get to the mark. They're now in mid lane pushing that one up. They're going to give up dragon because they don't care about it right now, because they know they haven't got control. They can just set themselves up anywhere on the map.
They can just get all tier 1 towers. Look at the top lane. It's so extremely low right now. LNG does have wards set up very deep in OMG's bottom jungle, which is going to be a little bit tough if they want to walk in and contest this one. But if they just go for the towers, I mean, more than happy to give over this third dragon to LNG.
Absolutely. That was 2 towers for basically nothing. 2 towers and a herald still in pocket, by the way. We'll see resets coming in. Shanji will not have his teleport available for this fight, at least not for you know, another 40 seconds after it spawns. Does have the Sork shoes and picking up plenty of penetration here to try and burst out anybody that gets caught in his maelstrom. Rift Health being dropped mid.
Look at LP's Draven stacks because he can't die. Man has 0 kills at 17 minutes. We are begging that this Draven gets a singular kill so LNG gets their ADC online. Flash is all available, however, and Shanji specifically on this Kennen's also joining the fight.
I mean, the big thing is, you know, we wanted to talk about the Draven. Zika goes in, or gets brought in, I should say. There's a heal coming out. That was a Summoner Spellbook heal from Scout, so we'll have his teleport to kind of replace that. But, I mean, you're not in position to contest this. You can't contest this, and now you're giving up another objective. That has been 3, if not 4, back-to-back objectives going in favor of OMG. LNG don't know what to do.
It's 5 back-to-back objectives, 3 dragons, 2 heralds. They don't even get a singular tower or make a play on the other side of the map, Oisin.
It's rough. It's looking rough right now for LNG. They look lost, and Earth, Wind, and Fire for OMG as they remember the last time they made it to top 4. It's been a hell of a long time. The last time I think that OMG were considered a top 4 team, Going was playing for this team. That was back in 2013. That is a hell of a long time ago. Such an amazing time to watch this roster build. They brought in Creme, who's been with the organization since the, you know, the youth days back in the LDL squad. They bring in Shanji. They bring in so many more kind of, you know, positions to kind of build this from a roster. They didn't just take in star value. They developed this roster and worked with it throughout the seasons to make sure they could bit by bit, little by little, get better and better. And they have done just that. They are a true testament to the setup that the LPL and the LDL has been able to do. And yeah, you throw out the Whirling Death, but it still means the death of your tower. Now, Shanji has Flash and Protobelt. He does know. And that's why he's just going to give up this tower, because look at the top side. You can't really move forward right now as LNG.
Shanji is such a pleasant surprise as we just look at OMG's roster. You didn't expect them to be doing so well and making it into playoffs, going up against the 3rd seed from the regular split, honestly making them look like they're so weak. But Shanji's so disciplined as well for this game 4, not giving LNG any opportunities to come back into the game. We see Tarzan desperately trying to make ganks happen onto this Kennen, but you're playing for a Malphite.
Yeah, I like the tone you took right at the end there for the way you said Malphite, because that's exactly how we feel like right now. You're playing to the wrong side of the wrong side of the map. It feels like going into the Kennen is even dangerous in itself. Even playing for the Malphite feels odd, because if the Kennen turns that around, gets a kill, even in a 1-for-1 trade, that's still not good for you. That's still not a great place to be. So the Baron live on the table. OMG
really good
find
from
himself.
Hung, though.
Yeah, very good word. Unfortunately, they heard you. You spoiled it for Hung. You spoiled it for him. They knew you were talking, but now maybe we're going to see a little bit of engage here. They're going to look to try and catch out Aki, but no one really following up on that.
Look at Zika and Tarzan sitting in the Raptor camp, trying to pray that OMG is going to walk up just a little bit too far forward. But Abel's going to go pick up that Raptor camp as he knows that Zika is missing on the map, not in the side lane or just responding to any play. So LNG trying to force a 5v5 here. Are they going to be able to do it? Because OMG has all their flashes and Abel having the Xayah ultimate as well.
2 ghosts from the Summoner spell books of Scout and Hung. So they're trying to use that to maybe their advantage. Of course, getting the extra little distance ahead. Try and drop down the event horizon could be huge. Getting the extra little bit of movement speed with the quickness could be massive. But while this has been happening, you've been posturing this whole time by LNG on that top side. All the waves are being pushed in. It's OMG who are pushing them back, constantly pushing them into their own jungle, saying, look, you can't leave. You can't go out and make a play. You have to try and hide in your own brushes, in your own camps, to try and catch someone going a little bit too far forward. But even then, I mean, how do you kill someone? The only person I could imagine they could maybe kill would be Abel. But if he gets his ult off before everyone can catch him, he's going to get out just fine.
Exactly. I mean, if you take away the 2 kills that LNG has been able to pick up, this has quite literally been a perfect game so far for the side of OMG. And LNG really just praying that this Draven picks up a singular kill, because look at the bounty that is already available on the hands of Abel. This is just how much of a gold difference they've been able to generate from not fighting at all, which is very not OMG, but they're showing us that they're able to play a flexible style and that they don't really care if you don't fight them in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, completely agree. I feel like for the first 3 games, it was all about the fights. It was all about getting, you know, inside of the 5v5s, out executing your opponent. But we look at the regular season for OMG, this is how they kind of won games. It was slow, it was methodical, it was out kind of pacing you, just being smarter around the map. It was something they were very good at doing against some of the lower tier teams. We never really got to see it against the top tier. So now they're bringing that out. It's only 4-2 the kills. It's a 5,000 gold lead, and they have total vision control around this Baron as well, which means they can take this. Nobody is moving up. It's just Tarzan. They have to use the Whirling Death to check it out, so it's going to be a full flip.
They can't walk up. The Baron's already half HP. LNG, they need a flash over the wall. OMG stopped it. They're looking for the turn.
They're looking for the turn, but Creme's got himself on the back side. Scout's already moved himself away. Hostile takeover to help out Creme. There's a perfect execution over the back end of this. I don't know if that's what you really want to be going for. The flash isn't long enough, and that means everyone can commit, but just committed right on top of Shanji. Creme still hasn't gone down just yet. Eventually, Shanji falls. Tarzan is dead, as is the Draven. Those stacks mean nothing. You bet it all on red, and it came up black.
23 minutes and LP dies with 200. Oh, I don't even know how many Draven stacks he had. I can't imagine it. But OMG forcing LNG to walk up into them as Creme gets such a good flank onto the enemy team, getting everything started off. Although Zika landed his ultimate, your hands aren't reaching the backline of OMG, and that's where their damage is.
They're going to kill him. Scout doesn't know. He gets dragged back with the handshake.
They have triple
No one's going in. They're going to try and move it on top of him. The Baron's still going down. Finally secured. They flash straight over. Abel wants to end this game. Abel wants double elimination right here, right now. They take down Zika, and they will be able to reset, get the Dragon Soul. It's all OMG.
1, 2, 3 spellbooks wasn't enough as they just get a 24-minute Baron. Medjai's picked up 4 Creme, and they're working towards that Soul Dragon. At this time, I think this game is over, Oisin.
See what LNG were trying to do there with Scout teleporting in? He had the smite available to him. That's why Creme said, no, I know your game. I know your tricks. They jump straight back in on top of him. This is just such a chaotic fight because Creme just says we're going.
Yeah, Creme just goes through the event horizon and doesn't get zoned out at all, also burning the, I guess, stopwatch to avoid that Rakan ultimate. But this Zika did look like really good things for the side of LNG, but the exhaust also gets popped onto Shanji. No one is killing Abel. No, and they're so split from the Kennen ult from now. And they just have the damage to lock down LP. This Draven was not the pick for game 4, and we're definitely seeing this result.
Yeah, we're seeing a little bit. They're going for a little bit of a desperation play. Good hostile takeover means the Tarzan can't go anywhere. Where's your exhaust now? Shanji just pushing them all like sheeps to the slaughter. They'll be going to sleep very, very soon. Gray screen across the board. You would imagine coming in very soon if they look for another fight.
Look, the only hope is that they land a 5-man wombo combo from LNG. Ultimate stacked on stacked on stacked. No flashes available for OMG for this next up-and-coming fight. Hopefully Zika carries his dreams and lands it onto everyone, because they're just going to get suffocated with this Baron buff. Maybe even 2 inhibs working towards that bottom one.
I mean, it's so difficult to stop this. It's such a short-range comp from OMG, but when you've lost all your big engage ultimates from LNG, it's so hard to really get in on top of them, stop them from pushing in and getting them, you know, getting every tower they possibly can. It's now a 9,000 gold lead. The Baron doing exceptionally well. They've cracked open the base. They have Dragon Soul. This is OMG's game to lose at this stage. LNG not only just need to play exceptionally well, they need miracles. They need mistakes coming out from OMG if they want to come back.
I don't even think a single mistake is going to bring them back into the game. You have a Draven who's 0 and 2. Man is not going to get any stronger. He is a Draven in a late game compared to a Xayah is just never the same. So I'm just so confused on what Tarzan's plan was this game. Playing towards the Malphite, not getting too much done in that top lane. Did get 1 singular kill onto Shanji, but that just resulted in a double kill going to Creme's hand. And Scout on this Veigar not being proactive at all with that spellbook available as well.
Yeah.
I mean, LNG, they're so boring.
Wow, tell me how you really feel. I mean, I gotta say it as well. Like, you know, MVP for the regular split on Scout had looked exceptional all year. Really was just kind of locking up, in the lethality of this Tarzan Scout combination was exceptional. It really was the best mid-jungle duo, you would argue, in the league. But it just hasn't come together. Tarzan has been a mime in this, you know, like just completely muted, silent in this entire feels. It's come down to LP in that game number 3 to kind of drag them back, but the people you expect to stand up and be counted for, the people you expect to put out the work and put in the plays, just haven't done it for LNG. On the opposite of that, OMG have just gotten better, if anything, from their top esports series. They've looked even more cohesive. They've looked even more together. And people who we would have had a little bit of question marks about, like Abel, they have stepped up massively in this series, and it's really good to see.
Yeah, I mean, these Sagians for the side of OMG, maybe it's morale, maybe it's them just evolving as players, but Creme looks like a different type of person compared to his regular split. I mean, he has had a lot of standout performances alongside Shanji, but this series in particular, he is space gliding on the enemy team. LNG, I mean, Hung and Scout did try to make things happen, but Creme not giving a single angle over for LNG to come back.
You have the Zanyas now for Creme, stopwatch for Aki. Stopwatch available for Scout, and plenty of summoners across the board. We're only missing the flash off of Tarzan, which should be up for this Baron spawns in a minute 20. So this could be your final chance, LNG, to bring this game back to some kind of parity. It won't bring you into a victory, but it definitely will help. You can see just kind of moving forward with Creme. They know how powerful he can be. He gets jumped on, but immediately goes golden.
Flash.
It's going to be, LP's dead. I'm not even quite sure how that happened. They tried to go 4v1 onto Aki, but it just, or not to Aki and the Creme, but the Akali just ends up living. And now you've got Tarzan caught out. He's trying to use the Cyclone to keep himself away. You're on the wrong side of the map.
Look at Abel
with the massive slicing Maelstrom, and you're done. You're buried. You're over. And there's you can do, Scout. You're going to try your absolute best, but there's just too much damage. There's nothing to be done, and OMG will be going to top 4 double elimination.
And that was a 4v5. Abel was ending the game on Xayah. OMG truly deserving to make it this far in the playoffs. They're up against EDG next. I mean, they are up for a challenge, but I think it is going to be the miracle run for this team, Oisin.
Massive, massive run there by OMG. They take down top esports, then they take down LNG, and they've secured themselves double elimination. That's the key thing. They may go into EDG and lose, but they have a second shot. That's what matters. And this team coming together, these players looking so good with each other, and just the energy from them there. Look at them all. They're just so happy.